grow my small portfolio. Today I'm coming back with you guys with a video on Hive Digital Technologies. This one's going to be on why I'm loading up on their stock before their earnings. I've doubled my stake since I initially invested what I originally wanted to, and then I was like, you know what? This is a great company. So I basically added 70% more shares than what I wanted to have originally. So that's why my cost basis is a little bit messed up. I also did sell some during that crypto liquidation. I sold the entire thing literally with just the intention of selling at $6, for example, and getting back in at 5.50. I was just trying to make like a little arbitrage on it. Realistically, it really didn't really work because I bought someone that was higher, I bought someone that was lower from when I initially sold. But again, the whole purpose of me doing that in the first place was just to try to save myself a little bit of money because I did see some potential downside happening there. And it did happen, but it didn't really last. So in the end, I think I got to remind myself just hold on to the positions that I got, and if I'm holding on to something long term, don't worry about the short term. Don't even just try to scalp or make a little arbitrage on it. It really doesn't matter because the worst that could happen is that you sell at $6, but the stock bounced from that position, went to 6.50, and now you lost on that extra 50 cents per share. That's the worst. And then, man, if I'm telling you guys about my luck, that'll happen. But anyways, enough about me. Enough yapping. Uh, we also have these options here. These I bought initially. This one I just added on there, and I'm probably gonna add another leap or so whenever I get the opportunity to. If I do get the opportunity to. Honestly, I wouldn't be upset at this point if I don't get the opportunity to. I'm sure in the future I will. I'll be like, damn, why didn't I buy more? But in the short term, I got two targets here. This target we're gonna smack this week, 665, 100%. We're gonna smack this. Not financial advice with any of this information. I'm just telling you how confident I am that we're gonna come up and smack this. Um, and then from there, my longer term target is this target right here, which is gonna be 719. I don't know if we get to it. If well, hold on, we got rate cuts happening Wednesday, and of course, it's not necessarily guaranteed that we're getting rate cuts, but I think it's pretty evident that we will. So I think we can come up and smack that. Now, I want to show you guys my long term price target, which I think this will happen potentially after earnings if we completely smash it. And even if we just get some sort of a contract, we're going to come up and smack this here. This is going to be the 1121 line. I did a little measurement. It was about 78%, from where we're currently sitting at right now. And it's huge, huge upside. Again, not financial advice. Do your own due diligence, but I'm just telling you what I'm currently seeing here on the chart and where I think we could be going. And it's super, super exciting. Super, super exciting to say the least. We're going to be within here, I believe, by tomorrow, 650 mark, and then it's up to us if we're feeling extra bullish to come up here and hold it, and then eventually come on and take out this part here. Enough talk on the charts, because that's all hearsay, right? Whatever. Here's why I like Hive Digital Technologies. I use Perplexity. I absolutely love them for their due diligence that they do. I pay for the pro version, and it is very, very helpful. So I asked it a specific question, and it gave me a lot of information. So the company is currently trading at a price to book ratio of 0.6. That's going to be, that's already significant first off, right? But you're going to be blown when I show you what some of these others, like Bitfarms, CleanSpark, Mara, what they're trading at right now compared to Hive. So Hive currently has 21.8 of a hash rate right now, and they're targeting 25. I think they just came out with something saying that they're either at 22 or 23, literally just yesterday, Sunday, October 26th. But let's take a look at Bitfarms. Their current hash rate is at 15. CleanSpark is at 27.6, while Mara is sitting at 53.59. So of course, CleanSpark, Mara look pretty high up there, right? They're doing pretty good. Bitfarms has 421 megawatts of capacity. CleanSpark has 552, and then Mara has 1,100 of megawatt capacity, while Hive currently sits at 440 megawatts across these different locations where power is very, very cheap, and they are again strategically located in those areas for that exact reason. Bitfarms, this is just highlighting some of the projects that they currently got going on. Their Panther Creek. I am an investor in Bitfarms. I do like Hive way, way better, and that's just going based off of the metrics, what I'm seeing. Stocks don't always trade like that. So this, you'll see in a few moments why I like Hive on the basis as to what I just said. CleanSpark currently has 552, and they own 91% of their infrastructure. So I'm assuming that's accounting for their buildings as well. You know, oftentimes a lot of these buildings are leased. Of course, if they're not leased, it's a lot better for them. So I think that's why they have such a premium right now. I do own CleanSpark, BitDeer. I kind of like to put CleanSpark and BitDeer in the same categories. I don't own Mara. I did have a few shares, but got rid of them a little bit ago. Literally nothing significant, like a few $100. But yeah, they currently do have a pretty wide range of megawatts. Apparently some gigawatts as well. Now let's get into how much they produce on a monthly basis as well as on a daily basis. So Hive in September produced 267 Bitcoin, while Bitfarms did 230 to 240. CleanSpark did 629, so literally triple that, and Mara did 736. So here we can see the Bitcoin per day. I'm not going to bother saying them, but I mean, look at Hive compared to Bitfarms just on the immediate. And look at how far they are in terms of CleanSpark, and CleanSpark, I believe, sits at about a $5 billion valuation. So it's a pretty significant difference there. Now, I love that Perplexity did this math for me because this is exactly what I would want to see. It's going to be the market cap per hash rate. So CleanSpark is currently at $204, 204 million per hash, while Bitfarms is at 154. Mara's at, let's just call it 120 million, while Hive sits at a staggering $62 million per hash. There's something that just like creaked behind me, but that was like a perfect thing to like, just come at you real quick. Dude, are you seeing this? 62 million? Sorry if I'm yelling in your ear. I hope you don't have headphones on. If you do, I hope it's like volumed appropriately. But dude, Bitfarms is at 154 million. Let me just move on because there's going to be a lot of silence if I continue there. Now, market cap per megawatt. Again, I'm going to skip Hive. Don't look at it yet. CleanSpark sits at 10.2 million per megawatt. Mara sits at 6.3 million per megawatt. Bitfarm sits at 5.5 million per megawatt. Where is Hive? 3.1? 3.1 compared to 5.5 at the bare minimum. All right, that's fine. That's totally fine. Let's just continue. Price to book. CleanSpark 3.1, Mara 1.2, Bitfarms 0.9, Hive 0.6. 0.6? 40% below their book value. Huh. Okay. Hold on. Alright, let's just look at the PE ratio and then judge it. So, CleanSpark sits at 26 times. Mara sits at 8.7 times. It's the lowest, but it's levered. Not really entirely sure what all this means. Levered. But this one, I do know what this one means. Bitfarm, negative. They're unprofitable. Hive sits at 28.31 times, but they are indeed profitable with positive earnings. They do have a little bit of short-term debt. Just debt in general. They're sitting at about 35 million in debt. Debt to equity ratio is 100% manageable. Bitfarms sitting at a similar cash balance, not necessarily anything crazy, but they did just offer all these offerings. That's why their stock has gotten hit. Um, yeah, I mean, the last few things that I'll highlight is just this right here. They have generated 10.1 million in high performance computing revenue for the fiscal year of 2025. They're on the Canada reporting system. I don't know how that works, but I think this is going to be their very first 2026 quarter, which doesn't make any sense because it's this November, right? November 2025. But I don't know. Maybe some of you guys know what's going on there. It doesn't really matter. It's completely irrelevant, but that's why it shows this way. They showed 3x year over year growth, so 300% from 3.4 million in 2024. They have deployed 5,000 NVIDIA H100 GPUs, which is what these hyperscalers want. It's what these huge AI companies are going to need. When you hear NVIDIA and you hear a data center play, I mean, that's really mainly all you're going to hear. And heck, you could even hear AMD. You could even hear Qualcomm today. You could even hear Qualcomm. But when you hear that this company is offering the top of line stuff, I'd be pretty excited. And they're targeting 100 million annual revenue in 2026. So if we can see them get one of these massive contracts, then chances are we're probably going to see them rip. So I am extremely, extremely excited to see what they can do here. They're sitting at a pretty good time. And I guess the last thing to cover, because I mean the most attractive thing to a hyperscaler, to an AI company, is a low cost of power, right? Look at the cost of power that these guys all have. Granted, it is only about a penny, right? Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe they're at 3.5 cents realistically, right, and not 3 cents. But still, that makes a significant difference with how much electricity you're pulling. So they have some of the lower costs, which is again why Iran has ran so much. They have such a low cost of power, and they have, I mean, they just have an insane infrastructure. But let's stay on Hive here for this video. I'm not going to talk anymore about Iran. And I think I'm also done with talking about Hive. I feel like I've been yapping forever. Most of you guys probably aren't around. If you are still here, just tell me you made it to the end of the video. I hope that this video gave you a little bit more insight as to why I invest in this company and why I'm investing so heavily in it. I'm not a huge gambler. I actually have a huge responsibility, financial responsibility now. But here I am, and I'm not somebody who's wealthy either. By any means, don't let this portfolio fool some of you guys. I started off with a few $1,000s here, and I really, really worked my ass off with my job, and I got to the position to be able to be invested in the markets, and the markets have been a huge, huge thing for me. But I've had some tough times in the market. Look at this. 40%. I was down 40% in the first year that I really decided, you know what? I'm going to throw all my money in there. And I was right. I was right. You know what? I hope that this last portion doesn't seem like me just crashing out. But, I'm really saying this to say that, you know, if you feel conviction on something, then just do it. Just do it. If the numbers make sense, if the valuation is correct, if you're not paying too much for the company, do it. Right? And you can have some speculative plays. Hive is 100% a speculative play at the end of the day. However, let's be real, where is this AI stuff going? What do you need? You need high performance compute. Hello, Hive. That must be you behind the door, right? Knocking at my freaking door because I know where this is going. All right, guys. Yeah. if you guys enjoyed this video, please just let me know that you enjoyed this video. If it felt real, because I'm not cutting my videos, I'm just yapping. If you guys appreciated it, please just let me know. I record these videos, and man, to even just have 20 subscribers like I do right now feels awesome. The fact that you guys took the time to take it out and listen to me. And last thing I'll say is go Google reporting earnings on Wednesday. Look at that leap. Oh my gosh.